Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are making a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We are working on the end of our first dungeon today, so the idea is, we got our particle system working in specific scenes, which we did not have that ability before. So yesterday we got that particle system working on a per scene basis, which is nice. We need to add basically the out point of the dungeon. So in order to push things, you have to have the green tunic equipped, and then you can push things, and then I'm just going to try to fight my way through the first dungeon here real quick. I should have got some health. Oh no. Okay, we'll see if I can beat the first dungeon without losing a heart here. Oh no, that's not good, that's not good. Okay, so far so good. We should be good here. So it's like the best move is to kill this fast bat and then block these bat holes and then kill fast bat one more time and make your escape. So I didn't take any damage. This is the exit of the dungeon here. So we need to put this not in the other world, because right now it just pops us out. If you could see where it's actually putting us, it's over here in the map, because the other world is 10 by 10 right next to the original 10 by 10. So we need to add a warp zone to the end of this dungeon so that we can pop out over here, which is right here. So on this scene, because this is the entrance, then technically when you go inside, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sort of deal. So like maybe these 6 are the dungeon underground, and then by the time we pop out, we should pop out in the overworld, but two places over. So we'll try to do that. So let's make sure, in order for testing, we're gonna get our spawn point and set it equal to where our dungeon is. I don't remember what scene our dungeon is at, but it should pop us out in the what I call the other world. So look, this is our 200 scene map, and then this is that dungeon 1 that we were just exploring. So when it pops us out, we need to spawn us in the bottom right of the, let's see, this would be row 4, so 4 down and 10, 11, 12, 13 over, so 4, 13. So let's see if we can do that. We'll probably spawn into a hole. Oh, actually, we're fine. I do want to put us on the bottom right so that we can test walking out faster. So yeah, basically what we're adding is like the actual exit of the dungeon, which we focused on mainly level design for the dungeon. We weren't really worried about exiting and after the fact. So we need to put our tome inside of a treasure chest outside of this dungeon. And what we did yesterday will also put us, we need to use the sand particle system when we exit, because it's, that spawn was close. We need to do X left 1 and Y up 1. So 6 and 8. Cool. So now we can just spawn our game and walk right out and test it. Right now we're coming into the overworld, which gives us a map of 513. But we need to add a warp zone so we can actually teleport instead of just adjacent shift our scenes. So if we go to look at our warp zone, we have this insert warp zone function that takes place of like, because basically like adding one warp zone is a two-way tunnel, right? Because it's a warp to a place and a warp from a place if you collide with the warp zone. So we have this, it's like an 8-parameter function that can just insert a warp zone to and from a place. So I have the parameters typed out here because it's just such a nightmare. But basically we need to give, yo, what up, Salto? How's it going, dude? Still hunting for cream? Hey, Sora, what's up? Welcome in. Good to see ya. We're looking for, dude, to be honest, I am short of hitting my minimum goal this month. I'm not even, it's gonna be shame, dude. It's gonna be shame. but still hunting, still digging, man. I'm still digging. It's it's bad, but honestly, it probably would have been worse if we didn't even talk about it. It would have gone more off the rails. So it's not, not a failure, but yeah, definitely not as much productive as I wanted to. But we did. It's always in the planning phase where it's just stuff I didn't think of, So it's like I didn't think that we needed the particle system on a per map basis and how that worked. I didn't think about that. I didn't even think about the inn this month, which took me forever. So yeah, it took me forever. So it was my bad estimating. I thought I basically, if I had to like tally the things I did this month, over half of them weren't on my radar at the end of last month. So it's just one of those things. Oh, yeah, dude. I saw you working on that. Yeah, that's just brutal. It's just so hard to estimate these things, Okay, yeah, dang, dude. Okay, so it's like we got to translate this warp zone into 8 parameters, which is a row and column for the warp from location, and then a warp to location, as well as the X and Y position for the actual boxes to trigger the warp zones. So when we do this warp from row, from call, that is the warp zone that, and actually the warp from and to is kind of backwards. Well, if we do this one as a warp to, we need to put this 413 as a warp 2 so that the overworld gets prioritized the warp zone, just as a convention's sake. Yeah, dude. Sora, that just happens. Dude, and the time flies. Time freaking flies. Okay, 413. So let's try to put a warp 2 at 413. And then when we go and we do a warp 2x, we'll put it at 9, which is 1 tile from the right, and 7, just so we can see the green box and make sure we placed it in the right spot. It did. It just, it took us to the old location. That's okay. So it looks like it's right, because if we were to change... Oh gosh, where is it? In our spawn, if we were to change our player's location to be just up 1 tile, we won't automatically trigger that warp. So... My nipples look like milk duds. This is right. Cool. So we should add the we really should do a watch party. That would be a lot of fun. So Salta, have you ever watched it with have you ever watched it with the there's an alternate soundtrack on it, like if you go to like change the audio, and you can put the you can put like the original script that they read, because you know the dub never matches their lips, but what they're saying when they filmed it is just as funny of a script, and you never know what they're actually saying, so you can actually toggle that audio on and hear what they said while they were filming the movie, and it's just as silly. I waited for Kung Pao 2 for so long, dude. I was dead set on that actually existing and coming out. Never say never, right? How amazing would that be if we get like a 22-year later sequel? I don't even know what Steve is doing these days. I know. I thought like when I first saw the movie as a kid or whatever, I was like, I thought it was already done and filmed, and I thought it was like in the can for being released in like the next year or something. So like I thought it was already filmed and edited, and we just needed to wait. That's a good freaking movie, dude. That's a perfect movie. Okay, so we need to move the Y to be, is it 9? The green box should be just outside here so that when we walk out, oh gosh, that wasn't it. Warp to X, warp from X. So a 9-7 is here. Okay, so it just needs to be a 9-8, so it's just out of visible view. I put it as green so that I can like for sure see it, so it makes things like this a little easier. Okay, now this is the wrong exit. Right, so if this is the warp 2, it's a little weird, but it makes sense in the sense that if we're in the overworld, you know, above ground, we define the warp from and warp to starting at the overworld. So we're going to be warping from the overworld into the dungeon because the warp zones are paired like this. What up, RZ? How's it going, dude? So we just need the proper tile ID for this, which we can walk to it, I guess. We'd have to go and find the spawn. We can set us to spawn a little closer so we can get the actual... I guess what I should do is go to the mini-map and add the row column for our global map scene so that we can kind of debug which numbers they are a little easier. I guess we can also just count, you know, we can say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. So we're looking for exiting the warp zone here at a 7-6 where this red path is coming out. So let's try to do that. So 7-6 is where we come out. And it doesn't really matter the X and Y for right now because we don't have the actual location. What's up, Squinch? There. Yeah. Great. Okay. So our coming out of our dungeon takes us basically where are, here's the entrance of the dungeon, and it popped us out 2 scenes to the right, which if you look at the dungeon layout, that's what it should kind of do it if it's accurate, because it's just a 2x3 dungeon like this. So yeah, so like here's the entrance, then there's a whole scene, and then there's an exit, and the exit should dump us at the top. So it should dump us at 9-1. 9 tiles over, 1 tile down. So this warp zone should be at 9-1 or 9-0 even, because it should be outside. Well, I guess it depends, because we don't have to have it enter at the very top, because if we look at the entrance is like halfway into the wall here. So we can do something similar and just make like a top wall portion here, so that our doorway actually spits us out like over here, and there's some wall above us. So yeah, let's maybe put it at 3. 9-3 maybe. So that would be a 9 here, 3 here. And that's one of those things that's like, it's a 6 parameter function there. Yeah, that's about right. I just want it maybe a little lower. All these numbers, it's not very intuitive what those numbers do for the function, but at the end of the day, it's kind of complicated, because it's like we need to tell the warp zone where it exists and where it needs to warp to and from. So that's about as clean as we can make it, I guess. I mean, there might be a way to reference those a little more explicitly, but this works. I don't know. Okay, cool. So now we have a dungeon exit for the first time, instead of us exploring the overworld. So this snow level is just totally not right. So what we need to build out right here is, if we look at the mini map, we're at the top left corner of the Dusty Desert. So the idea is we come out of Dungeon 1 here, and there's going to be light sand. It's going to be the level 1 sand that we added yesterday. So let's just start there. So that's at a 7-6. So we should have, we call it weather. So I'm going to say that there is a weather of light sand at 7-6 and see if it indeed appears as expected. Nice. So yes. So the idea is, yeah, you come out of here and it's like, oh, whoa. Because at this point, this is the first time you'll see any of the particle system. So the idea is, from right now, the sand will stop by the time we go to any other scene. Oh gosh. Why is it re-knitting this snow? That's a little weird. Why did it give us snow? Okay, let's find this real quick. It should be in like a weather when we say snow system add, table insert snow system, snow sand system. Okay. So do we have a snow system insert somewhere? Yes, we do. If it's light sand, we insert snow. Yeah, so that was just testing. Okay, sand system. That should be it. And then we're going to set the emission rate to our initial light sand emission rate. Okay, we should have it fixed. So light sand here, which is great. Now anytime they go further into the desert, it needs to get more sandy. Only to like a certain point. Oh, dude, what is that? What is that? It's like a little tiny emission rate. Oh, we set it to 10. Yeah, get rid of that. Okay, so here's the light sand. That's looking okay. Now if we go, you know, we didn't put the legit map for this yet. This is all the placeholder stuff, you know, so it's like all of the sand is just the same sand sprite. So since we haven't built this biome yet and it's not even unlocked in the demo, we need to use the sand effect. Yo, and check this out, Sora, because we have a light sand and a heavy sand. So when we do the weather insert, we have this, where is it? So what we're going to do is put heavy sand to the right of it, so that by the time you go one scene to the right, the sand gets even more intense. So this is like light sand, and then if you go right, well, maybe I did that wrong. Yeah, okay, so here's the heavy sand. So we did that backwards. We just need to go to still 7, but 7, 7. Let's try that. So light sand, and then if we go right, there's the heavy sand. So the idea is like, I actually even kind of want, in the desert, I want the wind to kind of blow you back. So like the sandstorm is actually going to move you a bit. I don't know if that's going to be in the demo, but that's going to be in the game. You know, that's part of navigating the desert, is because there's going to be gusts of wind that kind of like push you into spikes or pits or traps. So the idea is whatever, you know, I think we're only going to have like 2 or 3 scenes that are basically explorable in the desert here, because you haven't calmed down this ecosystem yet, and you don't have the ability to traverse it at the moment in the game, in the demo. So the idea is going to be that with this sand, we're going to insert some collidable wall objects, like some invisible colliders, so that you can't actually progress. That's the kind of idea. I don't know how, I don't know how that's going to work out, though. You know, it's going to feel a little forced, because it's like right now, if we look at our overworld, we kind of just like manually block in the player with these little fence posts, and I did that because when people, this is just a test for the sand, I blocked it like here, because when people would try to play the game like on stream or something, I'd watch them, and the first thing they do is like go up, and it's like I didn't put anything up. This is all placeholder stuff. So I basically like locked it in so that it forced them to go right, so that they can go find the dungeon here. So in terms of the layout of the overworld, it's not going to be so blocked with all of these fence posts, right? But we need to design it so it doesn't look so fugly. So it'll be yeah, god damn it. At least, you know, we've done a lot of work. It's just that, like, we did all the hard stuff. Now we just need to, like, take a little bit of time and just build out, like, 15 scenes to explore, you know, with, like, oh, there's a tree, there's a signpost, there's an idol, there's a cabin with a person inside, a tree stump, a pit, some flowers. You know, we've got like a little bit of diversity for tiles, but also there's like nothing to interact with. So we kind of have to just build out I think, like 12 explorable scenes for the demo. So that's what we're working on for the exit of the desert here. We can build out this scene now, because this needs to have like a little bit of sand, right? Because it shows that we're in the sand ecosystem. And also, the tome, the first sheet music, is going to be on this screen, which is not going to be snow. We need to redo this today. So what we do need to develop here is a little puzzle, like a one-way puzzle. So like the idea is, if they come and explore and they say, oh, there's a danger over here, and they're like, oh, that's probably this cave here, I don't want to go in there, and then they go this way to just explore more, there's basically going to be a blockage with some boulders. And it's because in this room you get the green tunic right here. In this room, we need to add it in the treasure chest to actually unlock it, but you get the green tunic, and that allows you to push the pushable objects. And we don't want the player to be able to get that green tunic and then come out of the dungeon without getting all the way through it, and then pushing the boulder and then unlocking the first tome without clearing the dungeon. So that's why I say it's like a one-way, because we need to structure a puzzle in some form to prevent them from unblocking it from the left side, but to be able to unblock it from the right side, and once they unblock it on the right side, to kind of permanently unlock a shortcut, so that like once they've cleared the dungeon, then they're no longer forced to go through the dungeon to get through this side. Because right now every pushable object just gets reset to its original position in the map, regardless of if we break it or whatever. So if we actually break this crate, we go actually, that's not what I wanted to show. I thought it would come back. The crates are supposed to come back, but there's an option for it to be what I call a key item. Dude, the crates aren't respawning. This is not good. Crates are not respawning. I wonder if the boulder is even moving. Wait. Oh, shit. That's what I get for having one heart. Well. Okay. Well, I'm dead. I wonder if I can go into the inn and heal in the game over screen at the moment. We have enough coins to heal, so let's see if we can do it. Shit. Oh, we bricked it. Oh, no. Oh, we bricked it. Well, you know, if in a game over state, you can't even... We've got some stuff turned off because on the web deployment, putting a pushable into a T so that coming from the bottom, T can't be pushed out of the way. Yeah, something like that, RZ. You know, some kind of little Sokoban puzzle. And we can work on that today. I'm just... I didn't realize the pushables aren't staying put. They should... Yeah, the pushables should reset whenever we come back into the scene. And I don't know. It could be an easy fix, or it could be hard to track it down. I don't know if there's a reset crate or a crate. What was it called? Where would it be? Maybe in a finish shifting, like a reset crate in a finish shifting. Something like that. Do we have a reset crate in here somewhere? No. What the fuck? Oh, maybe it's... Oh, remove crate. So we do this thing where if the animation for a crate has played, we're going to take it out of the collidable map object table. Let me see if other crates get changed. Gets reset. If we don't break it, does it get reset position-wise at least? Let's see. Oh no, oh no, this is the dead zone, dude. This is the dead zone. Oh my god, I trolled myself. I trolled myself. I fell right into the freaking pit that I forgot was down there. Shit, man. But yeah, the way that the reason the game over is broken right now. Oh god, dude, we're so porked. The game over is broken right now because for the web deployment, since loading doesn't work on the web deployment, I turned off the bits or serialization for the save data, so that's why it's currently broken. But we'll make sure that's fixed come demo time. Okay, let's try it again. You know, right now we don't have an easy way to just equip. Oh my, dude! I fucking trolled myself again. I trolled myself again. Oh my god. Okay, well, first of all, we can give us more. You know, we can give us more health. We can also make pushables work regardless of what tunic is equipped, just to make our development life a little easier. So maybe we'll just do that. Yeah, we only gave ourselves 2 health. Let's give us 8 health. Dude. I'm so dead. I'm so fucking dead, dude. Well, because the thing is, this dungeon, those 4 bats are brutal, and the thing is, those 4 bats are to prevent the player from kind of cheating and speed running to get out of the last dungeon. So like if they, yeah, the whole idea of this last frame on the dungeon is that if they break any of the crates, then they're screwed, because look how many bats come out to get you if you don't block the bat holes with the crates. So coming in the dungeon from the bottom is a freaking death sentence, because you can't block. And actually, maybe we should, maybe the move is we put a crate. Yeah, maybe the move is we put another crate at the bottom here. That way you can block these bats from coming out, the murder bats I call them, from the bottom, from entering the exit of the dungeon instead of from the front. But if they get through the dungeon, they'll realize how deadly those guys are from that bat hole, so they'll hopefully they would prioritize blocking them with the crate. Still doesn't show us where our crate reset is though. Like we used to reset the pushables. I guess want to see. Let's spawn back to our 7.2 real quick. Instead of messing around with this part in the dungeon, let's go to the one in the overworld so that we can, you know, in a more calm setting, try to push this boulder. So I quit the game. Let's do it again. Yeah, we'll get the sand system off this scene because that was just for testing. So we got our pushable. So look, we push the boulder, and then now if we go off screen and come back, the boulder gets reset. So the boulder is getting, the stuff is getting reset upon a scene transition to and from, but if we destroy the crate, it doesn't come back. So if we do this, yes. Okay, so the crates are getting reset. It's just not getting reset. They're not getting reinstantiated if we delete them. So we do want that in the game. So I know we had that. I mean, we definitely had that at some point. It was like a reset crate, I want to say. We have this remove crate. Yeah. So this is... Instead of removing the crate, we need to make it... I don't think we need to remove it. I think this active getting false stops rendering it and stops collision detection, because when we delete it from the table like this, it doesn't exist anymore and we're not reinitializing the map declaration for it. So maybe if we just don't remove it, it's okay. And they can be pushed, they cannot be pushed to neighbor regions, RZ, mostly through lack of skill on my part. I didn't want that to happen because a lot of the scenes, see like this for example, it should be illegal for us to put a tree on the flush left side here, because we can walk into a scene where a tree is and then we're colliding with it. So I didn't want to, we have to smartly design our levels so that there's nothing on the edge piece that would make a transition impossible or make it a bug. So I didn't want to do that, because then we'd have to well, I guess we still have to, we have to make sure our player can't be... Yeah, you know what? We probably could figure out how to add that. But I don't think I want to, because it's like if people can pull bricks or crates from other scenes, then they can maybe bypass some of the puzzles that I'm trying to set up for them. And I think I just want it a little more traditional. Like I don't think you can do that sort of stuff in Link's Awakening either. It's just one of those kind of like, the game just kind of gets reset on a scene-by-scene basis. And that comes into the puzzle solving later in the game too. There's kind of like a two-part puzzle system in the game. The first being you have to do stuff like the dungeon where you push those crates and do those things to make it through the crates to get minerals and upgrade your stuff. But then once the biome is cleansed, there's a second set of puzzles for like these berries. So like I don't have a use of these berries just yet. They're just in the inventory, but ideally what happens is you can throw a berry, and what a berry will do is just attract geckos if they're not corrupted. So this is Gecko Road right here, and this is where the corrupted geckos are going to be. So the idea is you can use your spellcast to cleanse them and then throw berries at them, and then it'll feed them. But there's another puzzle. They're like environment puzzles that you have to figure out. Like the geckos like to camouflage and hide because their nest is blocked by some bramble or something weird. So like you have to go like clear the spot for their nest and lure them with the berries in order to introduce them back to their nest so that they can go live and be happy instead of getting afraid and hiding with camouflage. So like there's like little stuff like that we still have to add, and that's not until later in the game. That's like it's like the second half of the game. First is like cleansing the biomes, and then it's like restoring balance in the ecosystem. Now that things are neutral, you want to make them thrive. So there's like a two-part system. It's like get rid of the corruption and then make it thrive. But yeah, it looks like... Oh, let's test our crate theory here. Okay, so if we just push it, it gets reset, but if we break it, then it does get reset. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we just needed to not remove it. Oh, well, I guess that's okay if what the heck? Oh, no. It's still registering the crate there. It's just not pushable. Shoot, man. So we need to just not have collision if the crate is not active to get rid of that. And then we would still be able to grab that coin if we wanted to risk it. Because, yeah, it's still registering the crate there. Because it is still there. It just became non-active. So we just need to make sure that the collidable map object... Well, we have a pushable. Is it a pushable? Yeah, pushable. Okay, so active. We only want to check collision if our thing is active, if our crate is active. So push right. Here, this collision. Yeah, so this collision, we only want to do this if our self, because it's the pushable, right? If self active, then we want to return true. Let's see. Because, yeah, we just don't want the collision on. Oh, man. Yeah, we've got to fix this. I think I want to default our character to have green tunic on for pushing things and Flauma equipped for spellcasting, because I'm already sick of equipping that every time we want to test something. So let's see. We're going to break the crate, and it's still colliding. Son of a bitch. I guess when we do this... What is this? Legal push? Yeah, that's not it. We want to do player to pushable. Player to pushable collision. Yes, we only want to do this stuff if... Oh my god, dude. It's a lot of junk. I think we want to do this and not playing... Oh, look, and V active. We have this. And V active. We are kind of doing this already. So we cycle through the collidable map objects if it's a pushable, and the pushable is not falling, and we're not falling, and the crate is not completely broken, and the crate is active. Then we want to actually check collision with that object itself. And if it is... This is like to actually activate the push. So what's interesting... Oh, you know what it is? It's not that it's a push collision here, because if you look at our we have a little animation. So look, if I walk into a tree, he just walks and he doesn't go into his push animation, because he only goes into his push animation if you're going up against a pushable object. So see how he's kind of pushing that thing? And he's kind of pushing... He doesn't push the wall because it's not pushable, but he pushes against the crate. Even if he doesn't have the green tunic equipped, it kind of shows that, hey, this thing is pushable, even if you aren't actually pushing it. So what's happening is once we break this, it becomes non-active, and then he isn't in his push. So that's telling me that he's picking up a generic collidable map object collision, not a pushable active collision. So we kind of just need to adjust our player to collidable map object collision and just make sure that we're saying, well, by the way, if it's a pushable and it's non-active, we don't need to do the collision for it. How did we not have this? I thought this was done already. Yeah, so look, player to map object, collidable map objects. Yes, so we only want to do this if it is not a type of pushable. Actually, we do need it. Shoot, man. We need it for a pushable because we need to not actually walk through the pushable when we do it. So we do need this. But we need to do it if it's active. So we can say if the V is active, if the pushables... Crap, dude. I don't think we're doing any active initialization on non-pushable collidable map objects because we have other things like a treasure chest that's a collidable map object that is not pushable, right? So we might have screwed something up. It looks like our collidable map objects looks fine. But let's see if we can do it here. Yeah, we've got to do that. Okay, so we can push, we can break, and we can walk through, and then when we reset, it's back. Okay, is that right? Yeah. Oh wow, we oh my gosh, we shouldn't be able to do that. I guess it makes sense we're able to do that. If you're brave enough, you can just do it. You can make that walk. Now, there is going to be a treasure chest right here, so that's going to stop some collision. Yeah, because I think you would bump into that. We need to add that too. But first thing I want to do is put our green tunic default to on and our Flama equipped set to on. So in our... I guess in our player spawn, maybe we do it in our player spawn so it's all in the same spot. And we have a global player here, so we're already initialized, so we should be able to just say global player green tunic equipped. Is it? No? Green tunic unlocked, and then tunic equipped. Oh, tunic equipped and element equipped. Okay. So it's just tunic equipped, and we're going to say the tunic equipped is green tunic, right? And the spell equipped. Element equipped. Okay, element equipped. Okay, cool. So we've got Flama equipped and the green tunic right away. So now we don't have to equip those things to just push and test things. So that's good. Okay. It looks like we've got our stuff fixed now. So we can break a crate and then it really breaks down and we can walk through it. And then when we go off screen and come back on, it is back where it should be. So now we can start prototyping this puzzle for the other side of the exit of the dungeon. So here's our exit, and then we can come this way. I like the idea of sand being on this screen too, actually. So let's just draw it better, right? So it looks like not snow, because that was just a test. So we can, for right now, we can kind of just expand this pathway, add some dirt, some grass, so that the sand makes sense. And then we can start to add some boulders and test out some pushable puzzles here. So let's put, yeah, I guess grass first, and then we'll build out some sand. Okay, well we know we want some sand and some grass, because this is kind of like bridging that forest to sand biome. We don't really have any special tiles to be like a transition, so maybe, yeah, I don't know. And this is mainly just like to give us a little space to test the lock, right? Because I don't know what the one-way puzzle looks like just yet, so we can't really go hog wild on the level design for the tiles before we know what the puzzle needs to act like. Oh my goodness, where is our freaking dirt path? Right here. Okay. So for right now, we're just gonna have a dirt path right to the end of the other dungeon exit. So it's not that we want to save as, it's we want to export this as a global map so our game can decode the Lua tables. And then we at least now, we can go back to, I'm going to take off the particle system on this, on the 8 column here, on the 8 column for the weather. So this stuff, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the old stuff. Okay, and then we want to spawn, yeah, so we got rid of the sand here. We want to spawn ourself at 7.4.7.5. So this is the new map we just added. And then there is the first scene out. Okay. So it is 7.6, and in our particle system, we'll get rid of that black render for the particle system, for the sand system. Yes, we will not clear the screen. That was mainly just to see the actual particles, but oh yeah, and then we go to, gosh, I already forgot the quadrant. Oh my god. How did we meditate there? How did we meditate? That shouldn't have been possible. 7.3. Okay, so we want to go to 7.5. So let's put us in 7.5, and then we'll start to put pushables there. Okay. So, yeah, let's put us at 7.5. And we will now add some pushables so we can figure out this one-way puzzle. So like just a little sandbox for us to play in and try to get it. So it's at a 7.5, and we want to go to the map declarations, and we want to go to where we add some boulders, because this is the one-way tome screen. Okay, and it's 7.5, was that? Cool, we just gave us a little boulder here. So now we can try to design a little Sokoban puzzle. So how this works is the pushing, you know, as long as your green tunic is equipped, you push for a 1 second, and if you're pushing after 1 second without letting go, it'll allow you to push it if the tile on the other side of the thing doesn't have a collidable map object in it, or it's not off screen by the time you push it. Because right now, if we push it, it doesn't go off screen because it's just flush with the end of the wall. So as long as we go off screen and come back, it'll reset that thing, so the player can't get like stuck. But we can also trigger a key item on a pushable, and if a key item is triggered, then it'll actually have memory of where it was pushed. So we basically need to only trigger the key item on these boulders once the player successfully solves the puzzle, which I don't know what that looks like just yet, but that's what we're trying to do right now. So let's kind of experiment, because once the player walks in from the left side here, you know, if we say they walk in right here, it needs to be no, the player isn't locked in, because they can always reset the boulders. It's just that and that's what we need to figure out, is like if the specific boulder that solves the puzzle is in the correct spot, we can trigger a key item option on that pushable, and that will mean that only that item will not reset to its original position, so that it functions like a shortcut. Because once you get through the dungeon and you're on the other side, you're able to solve it. And then once you actually solve it, it will permanently unlock this as a shortcut, so you don't have to go through that dungeon again to get to this part of the map. But you can always go back in and go attack the dungeon from either direction. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is like a decent little Sokoban puzzle here that only works from one side. If there are more exit tiles than pushables. Yes. There is a way, and I guess like, let's see here. If we try to push this crate outside the door, like, can we get stuck and block the entrance, you know? Well, we technically can. It's just that spellcasting can break a crate, so you can technically get out. But if your element has no vibrancy, I guess you technically could get stuck on that side, but there is an exit on this side. So I guess we might just have to keep in mind in the design process, like if there is a permanent way to get stuck, because most scenes have more than one exit for you to reset the pushables in case you mess it up or push it into an entrance or something like that. But that's a good thought. So I think I want to do, you know, we want to build out, for example, you know, what could it look like to trap the character on one end and not the other. You know, I'm thinking like in Pokemon, when you use strength, right, in whatever gym that is, there is one where it's like a line of 3 and you got to push, you know, you got to push 2 down so you can push 1 out of the way, or 2 sideways so that you can push the middle one vertical. So like maybe something like that, but it has to work from this side. So what could we'd have to like double up on the bricks over here. So like what we can do is like put like let's say that there's a tree stump in this above ground level layer, and then we put 2 rows of boulders here, or 3 boulders. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just try it. Because if we put basically if the tree stumps are there, you know, we can't walk through the tree stumps. We'd have to add some blockage here so they can't go here and around it. Which, you know, that's part of the elegant game design that I'm just, you know, having to practice, is like just so it doesn't look so cheesy to just put a bunch of these little bricks or blocks here, you know, to just block them. But I'll put them there now as placeholders, and then we can get more creative with other options we can use to kind of naturally block off pathways, because I don't want it to feel like we just put fence posts every place we didn't want the player to walk, but that's exactly what we're doing. But yeah, we'll get better at it, once we kind of figure this out. So I'm thinking we put like a boulder, and then a boulder here, and then we wouldn't be able to, oh shoot, gotta think it through. Yeah, we could just do a double boulder, because here, look, let's do this. Just to test it out. We want 2 boulders on this scene, and one is going to be at 2, 4. Yeah, so it's supposed to work at... It's supposed to be impossible to solve if you come at it from the left side of the screen. So we would want to do like a double sort of boulder like this, where we say this is just like a simple example, because on this side right here, if we're on the right side, because we came out of the dungeon and we actually beat the dungeon, we can come this way. And for right here, we can say, oh, I'm just going to push this boulder out of the way, and now I can unlock that shortcut. But if they come in from the left side, there's a boulder there, and you can't push a boulder because you can't push a boulder with a collidable map object in the scene next to it. So this is like a bare bones example of what could work as that puzzle. I don't like it. It just looks like some balls right there. So I don't really like that. So it technically works. It gets the point across, but I want to figure something better out. So what could we do? Because it's like if you do it wrong, in this scenario, oh, see, look, we need to block that off. That's one thing. I want to take like a whole day and just explore the Link's Awakening map to see how they elegantly make it so that you can't just walk to a screen and get blocked in like that. Like what does the general level design look like for any given scene to make it look, not so restrictive in where you can go, because if you can accidentally just get stuck in a scene like this if we draw it wrong. So I want to kind of piece apart how they can do stuff like that so naturally. But for right now, we'll just put our basic little stump there. Okay. So yeah, if you try to do it like this, you get stuck. You can't do it. You'd have to reset the screen, and then you can do basically anything you want other than push that in the way. Then we need to set the memory for the key item. Yeah, I don't know. I want to think of something better than just this. I don't like the 2 family jewels just hanging there. I don't want it to be like crazy difficult or anything, but I want it to be better than just 2 boulders like that. So, it needs to be blocked at some point. Yeah, maybe we can do... Maybe we can just put crates on either side. I just don't like the idea of the 2 boulders kind of touching like that. They just look kind of gross. Curve the way a few times and make blocking at one corner. I'm gonna see if my spellcast can hit the crate from here. It can. Oh, why can't we push this? Because there's a coin there? You know what? Oh, shoot, man. We gotta allow a pushable if the next, if the pushing into scene has a non-active crate, because that should be possible. We should have been able to push the crate into there, and that's just like one of those, like, there's so many tiny little details in making a game that you never think of. But like, yeah, it should now allow us to push because there's no crate there, but even if we were able to get that coin, we still wouldn't be able to push because there's technically still a collidable map object there that's non-active. But our pushing crate doesn't account for non-active crates. So let's find where we're using our legal push, and we just need to modify that a bit. I guess in our legal push definition here, we can only return true. See, we return true if we only want to return true if the V, no, shoot. Yeah, all legal push does is check the row and column of something for if it exists. Okay, so I guess we can say we also want to return false if, well, no. Because, yeah, we want to return a legal push true if the, yeah, we'd have to do something like this, where we'd cycle through our collidable map objects and say, before we return true on the legal push, we want to cycle through our collidable map objects, and as long as the actual crate in that thing is not active, we want to return true. Might have screwed that up, but let's see. Can we just push a thing? No, we cannot. Yeah, okay, because it's like, oh god, it's gonna take us a little while to figure this out, I think. Where do we use legal push? Because after we get a legal push coming, oh man, I think we were right. I think we're in the right spot to do that. Yeah, so the legal push just takes in a row and column, and it checks the collidable map objects. Yeah, we kind of want to say, well, if the what the heck is this doing it, dude? Tile X and tile Y equals call or row. So row and call here are the parameters we push to legal push, which when we push a object, we have to push it for like a whole second, and then if we've reached that second push threshold, then we're going to see if it's a legal push. So we're going to give it the row and column of the quadrant of the tile that is that the thing that we're pushing would end up at. So that's row call. So we're snagging that as a legal push check row, legal push check column. And what we're not doing is enabling a legal push if it is of a type crate and that crate is non-active. We're not doing a true here. So it's like this check right here is saying, well, if the tile ID we're about to push into is one of our predetermined collidable map object tile IDs, then we know it's false. And if if it's in an above ground, also false, or a top level tile, also false, because all of those things should not be collidable. So we can't push a pushable into a tile of those IDs. That makes sense. But then we're saying, yeah, return true for a push if it's not any of those IDs. Because we kind of do all the false catches here. So if it collides with a map object, which this is the line that is actually triggering because we're cycling through our crates because our pushables go into this collidable map objects table. And it is, I think we would want to do it if the v dot type, what is it, pushable, it's a collidable map object. Does it have a field of like, oh god, what did we do? What did we just do, dude? Class type, that's what it is, class type of pushable. So if the pushable thing that we're checking is a class type that is equal to a pushable or a crate, right? Do we have that? Class type treasure chest, class type pushable crate, class type crate. Okay, so it is a crate. So if it's a crate and it is no longer active, then we don't care if we're colliding. We just want to return a pushable, a legal push is true. And then, or we break, and then we return false if the tile X of our pushable is equal to the column of our legal push that we're checking. Okay, we can still push a crate. We can still push a boulder. We cannot push if the crate is non-broken. If the crate is broken, we still cannot push. Son of a bitch. If the class type is crate and it is not active, then go ahead and legal push gets true. I thought that would work. We must... Yeah, I thought that would work. Because a coin isn't a collidable map object. You know what? I think we want to maybe just do this before the... Yeah, I think this might fix it. Okay, we can't push it there. If we break the crate, still cannot push it through. Son of a bitch, dude. I mean, it's a little weird too because it's like the coin. Maybe we just don't do... Because it's like, even if that were to work, then does the boulder push the coin once it collides with the coin? It can't. The coin can't really stay in front of it, so it's like... I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I want to be mixing and matching crates and boulders like this for a puzzle. Anyways, this is just not working. Yeah, we'll have to dig into our legal push invocation a little better to understand why that's not working, but let's not worry about this right now. Okay, so we still want to do like a little puzzle. RZ, you were saying maybe curve the way a few times and make the blocking at a corner. I think the move is to try to pan out. Like, I think we need to kind of come up with all the scenarios that you're blocked on one end and kind of investigate whether or not you can get unblocked by adjacent stuff. Because it's like, we know this one works. I want to just find something not this simple. So we know it's blocked if we push. We know it's blocked if there's a boulder directly behind it. But then it's really easy to clear it because you just push one boulder down when you're on the other side and it's not really a puzzle. So if we had something else, because we can make it, you know, I want to do something like, if we surround this first boulder with you know, and it's like, I'm totally okay with this scene having, dude, where is my cursor? I'm totally okay with this scene having a lot of boulders because it's kind of like, this is like the preview you get for like, okay, what the heck? Like, I'm pushing a boulder, I can't push it, I can't get through, and then you're like, okay, well, I might as well have to go into this dungeon or whatever, and that's where you get the ability to actually push the boulders. So I'm totally cool with putting like a lot of, you know, like, I'm not opposed to having like 8 boulders for this puzzle or something. So I'm not opposed to that. I think we need to play with maybe extending this out one, because the idea is if we put a boulder above and below this first one, let's just do it to see. Let's see, 2, 5, and 3, 5. Yeah, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5. So we want to go 2, 4, and 2, 6. Well, you got it. You got it, man. Good job. Yes. Okay. So here, you know, we can't push these. You know, we can push that. We can push that, but we get stuck if we try to push this. So it's like, that doesn't quite work, you know? So like, I want to do something like that where you have to kind of like push them and spread them in the right way to kind of unlock that puzzle. But it still needs to be blocked from the left side. So if we had something like that, yeah, the one-way blocked is what's making it tough, because it kind of limits our ability to push things. So it's like, there is you know, the thing I was thinking of in Pokemon was where if you have it like like a 3 stacker. Then the move is to do this, you know, you push this one, and then you can cleanse, you know, push that one. But the 3 stacker doesn't prevent you from solving it from this side, because it's the same kind of deal where you can just like push that and spread them out and you're free already. So, dude. Yeah, I want it to be, you know, I might have to map this out like physically for me to play around with, to try to think of a decent puzzle for this, because I don't want it to be just the 2 boulders next to each other. I do like this idea of you having to kind of like get in there and spread them around. So like maybe we have like an X, like a cross of them. Yeah, maybe if we have a cross of them right here. So let's see if we can do this. This will be, yes. So here, and then on, we want a 2-5 and a 2-5 and a 4-5. Okay, so if we do something like this cross from this side, we can kind of come in here, push these out the way so that we can push. Okay, this is getting somewhere. You know, we're still, that still wasn't possible from, or I just messed up. I don't know if it's possible. Let's see, because it's like, it's still impossible from this side. But could we figure out how to get it? You know, we'd push, you know, this one just way out of the way. Push this one way out of the way. And then we can easily push this. Yeah. There's a lot of boulders, but... Okay, I mean, I like that better than the 2, right? Because it's kind of like... I like that better than the 2, and it's not... Oh, you know what, dude? It's so simple. It's like literally you could just go in and push. You can go in and push this. You just come in here and push this one. So if we had... If we had a stump so you couldn't do that, then you're stuck and you can't ever solve it. Okay. So I do want it to be, you know, not easy, but not really difficult. So it's like, I want them to just think a little bit for it, you know. So if we have to do, you know, if we work backwards, like the way that you need to solve it, at the end of the day, you have to push this boulder that's blocking that one up or down, and in order to do that, you need to be standing either directly adjacent above or directly adjacent below, and the thing beneath it needs to be clear so that you can push it. So the problem is, it's hard to make something beneath it, block it, and then be able to unblock it, because we're stuck with this adjacent, you know, we can't ever push this thing if it has 2 sides that are covered. You know, if it's 2 adjacent pieces, then it just gets stuck. If you made the right exit 2 higher than the left, you can put a row of boulders between the heights. You can't push them up because of the wall. but you can push them down. Let me try to think that through. If you made the right exit / entry 2 higher than the left, how many boulders total are you talking about? You can't push them up enough because of the wall. What if there's an easy way to kind of like if it was a grid? Yeah, if it was a grid, what's the grid? You know, is it a 4x4 for those 8 boulders to fit in? Or is it a 6x6 and then it's empty, empty, boulder, boulder, empty, empty, boulder, boulder, or whatever? Like, could you try to describe it like that so I can map it out and try it? See, I'd like if you had to do something kind of crazy like that to push it, to clear it, but like it's hard to block it. So 1x8, 2 wall rows, 1 path row, 1 boulder row, 1 path row, rest, space to push to. Oh man, dude, I wish I knew what you're talking about. I just thought 1x8. 1 times 8, two wall rows. So 2 wall rows. So like by wall row, do you mean closer to up here, touching this wall? Is that what you mean by wall? And then a path row, you mean right here on the path? So there's like there's 8 rows of 8 boulders. Is it 8 boulders total? A second path 2 higher than the current. So we would make second path has the right exit. So if we do this 2, 5, 3, 5. Imagine a second path 2 higher than the current. Okay, so a path right here, right beneath the wall. So a path right here. And then between them are boulders. So like in the path in between these two. So like right here would be boulders. And then you're saying 2 wall rows, 1 path row, 1 boulder row, 1 path row. So like alternate them. So 2 walls, a path, a rest. Okay, so that would be, oh gosh. So that would be at 3. So if you're saying the 2 wall rows, so like there's 2 and 3, those are 2 wall rows, then a path row, so 1 beneath it. So that would be, I don't know if it's like right beneath it, but let's see. Right beneath it. And then it would be the path row, and then another boulder row, which would be five, 3. Let's see. Okay, so row numbers 1, 2, wall, 3, path, right, exit, dude. I'm sure it makes sense in your head, but like when I'm looking at it, I don't know what you're talking about. Like row numbers 1, 2, 3. So it's like 1, 2, wall, 3. And that's where boulders are. Oh my god, dude. Row numbers 1, 2, I guess it would be like if you think about it like a quadrant, or like, so like if this is, you know, if we treat this as row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, you can say like, okay, well, row 1 is going to be boulder, boulder, empty, empty, boulder, or something, and then row 2 would be empty, boulder, boulder, empty, or whatever, and kind of go like that. If we decide that this is row 1 right beneath the wall, this is row 2 right above the path, row 3 is the path, and then just say, you know, this would be, if it's a 4 quadrant wide or whatever in your head, then you just say boulder, boulder, empty, boulder on row 1. Row 2 would be empty, boulder, empty, empty. Row 3 would be empty, 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 empty. Something like that. I would get that. But like, I don't get what you mean by right exit. Right exit, that means there's no boulder on the right side, or 5 path left. Exit 6, 7, 8 space. Yeah, I got nothing. I can't decode it, man. We also have oh, and you know what? This might actually be something that we can do, is we have pits that we can push the boulders into. So pushing a boulder into a pit could clear up the space for a boulder to be pushed into a previously unusable space. So what we can do is, like, in our above ground level layer, we can say that there is a pit right here as an example. Yeah, and then we can, let's just move down this. Yes, so here, if there's a pit here, we can push it into the pit. Oh, you know what? We can't push it into the pit. We can only push, they only fall into an edge chasm, not a pit, by design, because it's like, this was to prevent, you know, we were able to push it on top of a pit and it not fall in, and that would help us block the bat holes. Oh my gosh, we fall in. But if we wanted it to actually fall, we would give it a chasm, which is a different edge piece, you know, like it would be something like this, where we would say, you know, chasm like that, just as an example, just to see what's possible. Let's see. Yeah, so we can push it into a chasm. So that's one way we can kind of get rid of it. So that could add another. Wow, we can't fall into it. Oh gosh, what the heck happened there? Oh, the boulder's still there. Shoot. Are we not removing the boulder? Man, there's so many. We still gotta fix all kinds of stuff, dude. Because, yeah, the boulder's still technically there. It's just non-active, but we shouldn't be colliding with a non-active boulder. Because we can fall into that one, no problem. If we don't push it in, we can fall into the other chasm, no problem. We can fall in, it'll catch us and pull us in. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just chew on this for a little while and see what I can come up with. I have to map it out with like little rocks in person, you know. It's hard to map it out in the game and kind of play with it. I think I'd be better off making little paper cutouts and messing around with it. So yeah, we're in a decent spot. You know, we've got we fixed a couple of things with our particle system. We've got the exit of our dungeon working. So now, yeah, we just need to develop the little puzzle and then decide where on screen the treasure chest for the tome is going to be. I think it's going to be in that scene we're at. Because the idea is it kind of teases the player before they get to this side of things. They can come in here and try to walk over here. They'll be blocked, but they'll see the treasure chest. So they'll want to get over here, and that has the answer to... Oh, yo, RZ, this is... Okay, so wall. P is path. B is boulder. That is not what I thought you meant at all. But what do you mean right exit? Like, what do the arrows mean? Because, like, we still have to be blocked. We still have to be blocked coming in from this side. Like, we have to have a boulder. So, like, the path of boulders would be in front of us here. This is what RZ was saying. So, wall, and 8 row of them. And then a path. I don't know what the arrows mean. Path, you just mean, like, nothing. Like, walkable area. And then a boulder, a row above the path. Oh, with the right exit. Okay, so it's like... Because we have to... Okay, so let's try to build something out. The arrows are where you can leave, nowhere else. Okay. So you'd have to go in... Okay, well, let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so it's just... Yeah, walkable... And then a row of boulders, and then walkable. Because it's like we still have to... We have to block us coming in at some point. Or like, we can't... You know, if the rows above us here is all boulders, we need to block this path so we can't just walk under all the boulders and get to the right. Because you're saying, like... that you'd have to cross in order to come up here, and the walkable path is up here and down here, so these would have to be either like I don't know, something. Let's see, let's try to build it out. Because yeah, we'd have to block the path. So are you saying the boulders are in a line, like literally just in a line blocking all the whole pathway there? So if it goes wall, path, boulder, then we want a boulder on... What line would this be? Let's see, 5, 3... Oh shit, just unbanned him? Okay. It's Lua is all one indexed, so that's how I would define it. But it's like, I guess we need to get rid of these chasms here, because you're saying the boulder should go right here on this row, but that doesn't block the pathway for us over here, so we'd have to block the pathway somehow with something. But then even if we did that, let's see, because it's like if these were on row 4 instead of 5. Damn, dude. That was bad. That was bad. Okay, so you wanted 8 boulders. You can walk in, but the row of boulders can only be pushed 1 up. So you have to leave again. So it's like these can only be pushed 1 up. You can walk in, but the row of boulders can only be pushed by 1 up. So you have to leave again. So if we had so you wanted like 8 of these things. Okay, so like if we do, I mean, let me just see. Because if we had like, you know, if we had a pit on the bottom, so it's like you can't go this way and you can't go to the right, but it's like this still blocks you in. Is that what you're saying? Like this blocks you in and you can't come out this way. You can only push this 1 up, like you're saying, versus if you come out this way. You mean the last column would be fence again? Because here, well, I guess, yeah, I don't want it to be, the last column would be fence again, except right under the wall. So the last column would be fence, except right under the wall. So let's add the fence. You're saying fence, last column, except under the wall. Where'd our fence go? Oh, we had it. We had a boulder over it. So something like this. The fence is just not under the wall. As a sort of like... Sorry, man. I'm trying to understand what you're saying with the path, where it's like The only path that's walkable is... Because at some point you have to kind of cross from the top to the bottom. And I'm just not seeing how it prevents the player from coming in on this side. Because like I can kind of see like you make a path. Well... Yo, Matt Bird, thank you for the raid. Yo, how was your stream? Yo, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, y'all. Hope you had a good stream, man. Yeah, we're working on... This is like the exit of our first dungeon. So... Our first dungeon, you come in here, you do all the puzzle stuffs, and then the idea is you pop out on the other side. Yo, I'll check out that code soon, RZ. You pop out on this side. We haven't built... This is the warp zone from the end of the dungeon. So you come out of the dungeon, you warp out of it. We need to build the thing here. F is fence. Okay. And then the idea is we're trying to design a little Sokoban style puzzle where you have these pushable boulders, but only if there's no pushable boulders like directly adjacent, yeah. And we want it to be solvable from coming in the right side, but we want it to kind of brick the player if they come in the puzzle via the left side. So we're trying to figure something out here. And RZ just shared some code. So there's wall, wall, fence, fence. Oh gosh. Wall, wall, fence, fence. Boulder, 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 fence. Boulder, 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 boulder. Yeah. 6 boulders and fence, and then fence, fence, and a little gap. Okay, so like a little trap there. Okay. And then, so you're saying... We can make like, you know, there like it's like a little block there so that you can push up, but that still doesn't allow you to escape. But coming this way, if you push down, you can push this boulder all the way down. So it would kind of force you to push all of the boulders down in order to get out. And pushing them up only leads you to stuck. And this could be, you know, this is arbitrarily long. It could be only 3 boulders or whatever, just as like a... Let's try this. Let's see what it looks like. So right now we've got, oh gosh. We've got boulders. I need to put this where we can see it. Pushing a single one 2 down is enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it would be stuck, you know, you'd be stuck. We'd have to draw the fence. Let's see. So I think we have the boulders in the right spot, but we need to draw the fence on the right of a boulder, which we've got 1. So let's try this and see how it plays. Yo, Matt Bird, what were you up to today? So fence, 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 and then boulders. Okay, yeah. Let's just see how this... Because it's like, even if we don't go with this, you know, it's like a interesting kind of exploration of what the boulders can... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use it. So it's like, yeah, like you said, you can push these 2 down and get out. Or if you're up here, when you're beneath it, you can't escape, because I mean, even if you push, oh, actually you can't escape. Yeah, fuck. You can't escape. Yeah, we'd have to shrink this down. But it's like, yeah, I want it to feel more natural. Like, I'm trying to avoid like huge walls of collidables like this. Like, just because it's not so natural. You know, the thing you're tinkering with is in a game AI simulation. So mixing a few techniques. Oh, you're good, RZ. You're good. This is just like, you know, this is the experimentation phase, right? So it's like, this is totally fine. And stuff like this, like, I like that idea of like, if you push the things, you get stuck on this way. It's just that there's, you know, there's other ways to limit it, but it's even just building that out helps us kind of wrap our head around the type of problem that we're trying to, or the type of puzzle we're trying to do. So it was not a waste of time at all. What? Where is my dirt? There's my dirt. Yo, Matt Bird, that sounds crazy. I don't know what most of those things are that you're talking about, but it sounds cool. Yeah, no, you're good, RZ. Well, and that's what I'm saying, where it's like, for me, I almost have to like build it like with little pieces, like little pieces on a paper, like little game board, like build it out in person for me to move it. Make the last one a notch. I don't know what you mean by notch. But yeah, so like one concept I had, I mean, it's like the bare bones concept that actually works is just two boulders right next to each other, but I didn't like that. It was just too simple, right? So it's like, if we had the two, where was it? If we have it here where it's 2, 5, and 4, no, it's actually, yeah, I think that is it. No. 2, 5, 2, 4. So we need this one to be 5 and this to be 3. This technically works. Yeah, we'll get rid of the fences here. Oh gosh. So this technically works, right? Because it allows us to solve it from this side, but if we come in this side, we can't push this because it's surrounded. So it's like, that's like the minimum viable puzzle. But I don't like it. It's just too simple, right? So like the other one I liked, is like a cross. And the cross is not so, I guess it wasn't even this. It was like, we scoot everything right one and then across. Because right here, yeah, we're stuck. That way is stuck. So that isn't the one. Maybe it was this. Yeah, this is the cross. So like this one, it's still essentially the same thing, which I didn't like, as the double boulder on the left, because it's like this way, you know, you still only have to do this and push this and then you're out. So I want it to be more complex than that. But that is different than Yeah, what is this? Boulder, 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 fence, wall. Well, is the wall... Let me think. Oh, so this is the notch you're talking about. Oh, okay, so yeah, this is the notch you're talking about right here then? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. No, okay. That would, yeah, that would... Well, let me think. Because then it's like from the bottom you can push this boulder up into that little notch and then you're stuck. But then if you walk in from this end, you can push it down and be free. That definitely could work. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm halfway wanting to toy with pushing the boulder into a pit too, because that's one mechanic we have in the dungeon over here that we could use. So it's like, yeah, I guess I just want the solution to not be I want the solution to be more than one boulder push, right? So it's like I don't want them to just walk around and push this and then be done. Or with that other one, yeah, it's just like a one boulder push and then be done. Like I'd like if they had to kind of fish out of it just a little bit. So like something like, I mean, I don't know. It's like as these kind of get intertwined, it's like I like how you kind of have to like push to like build out a thing like that. But I guess it would be built out the other way. Yeah, so like in order to get through the dungeon, they have to push things into pits and or break crates with their magic or whatever. So they can't beat the dungeon without realizing that things can be pushed into pits basically, and you can fall into pits. So they're gonna come out and come this way and do something like this. Yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. Yeah, that gets us stuck. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I might need to just map this out in person on a little game sheet. Because at the end of the day, both of these spaces right above and below this crate need to be available to walk in, or one of them needs to be available to walk in, and we can push from that end. But that solves it right away. So I want, yeah, because as soon as a boulder is right here, we just cannot ever push that one in a spot that wouldn't get it stuck, right? Because we can push these out, and then by the time we push this boulder, the only way we can push it is getting it stuck, because these boulders can't be pushed anymore because they're being blocked by this one. So these bottom and top boulders can't be pushed, so the only move left is here, which gets us stuck. Yeah, and we would need that block above it open so that we can actually push something. Dude. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to make good puzzles for sure. Like this is yeah, I'm gonna have to think about how we can do this. You know, I might play a couple of Sokoban games to try to figure it out, because it's like, dude, it's not easy to design a good puzzle for sure. So we'll just have to keep experimenting and see what we figure out, because I don't want it to be a one push and that's it. You know, I want it to be like you actually have to do it the correct way, not just like the only reasonable way, you know. So I'm curious what that might look like. But we got decent work done today. Yo, thank you, Matt Bird, for the raid. I appreciate it. But I think we are calling it a night. Our get diff is a bunch of tiled exports. We added the sand system to the coming out of the dungeon, and then we added the warp zone for the dungeon 1 exit, and we fixed a bug for pushing a boulder. This is actually commented out. We actually did this elsewhere. Right here, we added that we only do a legal push check if the crate is active, and then we're working on the placement of the puzzle for the tome treasure chest scene. So we're doing pretty good. You know, we just have to figure out the puzzle, which we'll be doing tomorrow. I'll think about it tomorrow and tonight, and we'll see if we can get something that I'm happy with tomorrow. And then after the puzzle's done, we need to insert the treasure chest for the tome, and then we need to plan the overworld for the dusty desert where it blocks you off because of the sandstorm. And then at that point, we just have a couple more sprites to design for the overworld for the village, and then we might be done with the demo. Like we have we have to do a bunch of testing, but feature wise, that would be kind of the end of the demo. So for this, we're gonna say what we did. Adding dungeon 1 exit. Cool. So yeah, with that, we will call it a night, and we will pass the raid train along, and hopefully we can find another game dev to raid here. Let's see. Well, here, let me see. Yo, thanks for hanging, RZ. Thanks for the ideas. That was fun. Yo, our homie Brightside is doing some Unreal Engine development on his Pizza Sim game on Steam. So we can raid out to him, say what's up, and then wishlist his game. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. But yeah, we'll raid out and we'll call it a night. Yo, thanks for hanging, y'all. Thanks for the raid, Matt Bird. I appreciate it. Hope y'all have a great night.